Alright, hello guys, welcome. Editing me here, because I'm really bad at making all this stuff clear before I get a video going. My truck won't start. It was running, it started up, cranked up, sounded a little weak, and it ran just fine. And then it died on me. It probably ran for a total of like 5 seconds. Right after then, I went to go figure out what was going on, and it was making this horrible grinding noise. So, yeah. Alright guys, so I climbed underneath the truck to just take the starter off. And that's not the problem. Looks like the starter's not on. Now, I will admit I don't like the grayish look. Alright, so as you just saw, the starter bolts had worked their way out. I guess I've broken off a couple of bolts before, so I'm really cautious about over tightening stuff. So sometimes it gets under tightened, and I guess I lose bolts. So that was pretty crazy. I've never seen a starter work its way that far back. So it still won't start. So now the next thing I'm going to is batteries, because it's turning over kind of slow.
Yeah, go for it. That one is actually a little bit on the higher side, but the bubble stop. I don't know if I like these new hydrometers or not.
Come on, it's new technology. You gotta love it.
New technology would be like a little sensor you put in there and it reads it immediately. So it looks like it did charge a good amount of the battery, just some of the cells are still pretty low. So it would still need to be a
both batteries were fine. After the batteries, I went to fuel. Maybe we're not getting enough fuel. It's been a long time since I changed the fuel filter. Fuel pressure, like 50. That's more than enough. Now, unfortunately, the fuel filter didn't do it. So now I'm thinking, alright, what have I not replaced on this truck? What's still old? And the crankshaft position sensor is one of those things. So I go ahead and... Alright, so it's the black sensor. So it's the old one before the gray. Alright. I replugged the ICP back in. Just trying to completely eliminate. Nope. That's not it. The crankshaft position sensor wasn't the problem. Oil in the H-pop. I have fuel going to the system. The vehicle's turning over. So the next thing... Alright, so at this point, I'm running out of ideas. I don't know what's going on. So I go online and I find a flow chart for a 7.3 Power Stroke. And it's a great flow chart. I'll see if I can't leave it in the description below. But I'll show you guys what it looks like, and then we'll walk through it, and basically you'll see the steps that I did to get where I'm at. Alright, so this is the flow chart that I found online, and it's pretty helpful. It'll basically get you where you needed to go. I had to do some research on some of this stuff, but yeah. Alright, so crank no start, obviously. Does the wait to start button come on and off. Now, that's kind of, if it doesn't, I've heard that has to do with, your computer. The PCM, which is that second one, mentions it right down there. Alright, but anyway, so I had yes. Now, does the tachometer move while cranking? The answer is yes. The digital scan gauge, I think I have a video in here. You guys have seen the gauge coming. It's pretty low, but yeah, you can see that. Alright, the next one, smoke from the tailpipe. I originally said yes, but it was kind of on and off. There's a yes, no. There's a yes over here, which is plug in the block heater and let it sit. Guys, the truck started up just fine. It's a rebuilt engine. It only has, you know, less than 30,000 miles on it. I know that's not the problem. That'll be weak compression, too cold. I know that's not the problem. It's kind of hard to read this. Sufficient cranking speed? Yes. We are getting the revolutions. We're put a video right after this of the scan gauge. You'll be able to see this. Take two. The glow plug function. Glow plug relay functioning, yes. So that's the little test I'll show you guys right now, and I'm just using a test light in 2 different spots.
There's power right there to that one, and there's power to that one. Nope, just went off. Nope, never mind.
Okay, so that's working. So then we're saying, okay, the UVCWH for bad plugs. It's basically the injector control wiring. It's the head. It's the valve cover gasket. Is what it is. That was new with the rebuilt engine. So I know it's not this. I know it's not this. I checked that. That's working fine. So I go back up to my Lexus questions. Alright, I know I'm getting sufficient cranking speeds because the scan gauge is telling me that. I would be in, like, there would have to be something incredibly wrong for this to be the issue. It's a brand new engine. Alright, so now we're going with no. There's no smoke. Most of the time there's not smoke, but I've seen some smoke. Alright, check crankcase oil level. I'm not sure if that's going to be the oil. That should be your dipstick oil. Is there fuel in the fuel bolt? Yes, guys. You guys have seen the fuel filter. I changed it. We went to about 50 psi past the fuel filter. It's not before it, that's past it, so that's what the head's getting. So yes. Is it greater than 20? Yes, it is. Low or no HPOP pressure? We have plenty of HPOP pressure. Now, I don't know why, but there's no yes or no to this one. Or there's no high or low. So it's really weird. But anyways, unplug ICP and I can't read that. Inspect plug for oil. That's not the issue. It'll start without the ICP plugged in. It won't be happy to run without it, but it'll start without it. So I ran down here to this one and test with mechanical gauge. I already have that mechanical gauge on the B pillar. That's how I know I have 50 psi on the. Oh well, no, sorry. That's the scan gauge is telling me I have 50 psi. Now it's using the ICP, pardon me, to tell me that, but it's telling me that it hasn't. Alright, I believe I'm getting it. That brings me to a bad IDM or PCM or wiring. So I checked my wiring. I can't find anything. PCM is a computer, but the PCM, if the tack doesn't move, the PCM can be one of the problems. Now I just happen to have an old IDM lying around, and we'll put that in. Alright, I turned off the programming. Still the same issue. So this is the IDM GB injector drive module. And now there's only one way to know. These things are not cheap. But I totally did not read when I bought it. I bought that one, I think, off of Rock Auto. I totally did not read that there was a core charge. So I totally have the old one. Now obviously, I'm pretty skeptical about replacing that because why would that be the problem? I just bought a new one. You know, not even a year old. But looky there. Yep. She's running again. Huh. Imagine that. I have the ICP sensor disconnected. And I'm gonna go connect that while the scan gauge is loading. Alright, battery's dying. But it was $487, at least on this website. I'm pretty sure I bought it from Rock Auto. But yeah, 500 bucks for this thing to last a year. Not impressed at all. I will say that this is probably my most irritated I've ever been on a video about something. Anyways, battery's flashing at me, so I guess this is it. Well, who would have thought it? An IDM injector drive module that I put in a year ago from Rock Auto would basically die on me. Now, I'm going to say I'm super blessed because it was on the side of the road, parked outside of my house. I wasn't driving. I did a crazy road trip with a trailer across the U.S. It didn't happen then. I did have the old one with me, but I don't know if I would have figured that out that fast. It could have happened to me anywhere, but it just happened to happen when I was parked outside of the driveway. Hello guys and welcome. And I can't keep you guys, if you guys would cooperate with me. Sit down. Stay put there.